all you hear is that the Democrats are the ones with the amazing ground game and the Republicans less so. And that Trump hasn't been pushing early voting enough. So the Republicans are too dependent on day of voting, whereas the Democrats will have banked millions of votes prior to then. I'll give you just one stat. We are looking at the number of early votes already cast in the states that allow early voting. NBC News reports today that as of right now, it's just short of 1 million, 887,207 mail-in and early in-person votes have been cast nationally. So far, 52% of those are from registered Dems, 31% from registered Republicans, 17% other. So what are you seeing, thinking, and feeling about the Republicans' ground game?
Thank you, Megyn. Well, again, my organization is Early Vote Action, and all of our time, talent, and energy is going just to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We have a state director. We have 50 paid field staff on the ground all across Pennsylvania's 67 counties. And I want to dispel any myths right here and now that there is no ground game. I'm a data guy, so let's go over the numbers for a second, Megyn. In 2016, the Democrats had an advantage of nearly 1 million more Ds than ours. Donald Trump won Pennsylvania by 40,000 votes. Fast forward to 2020, that D to R advantage was narrowed down to 650,000. And Pennsylvania was ultimately decided by a very narrow 80,000 votes with the mail-in ballots and everything else that was going on. Now, where are we today and how is 2024 different? That advantage of D over R has been narrowed down to 333,000. We have cut in half the Democrat advantage in just 4 years' time. And if you take out inactive voters, Megyn, people that haven't voted in, say, 4 years or 8 years, that number is just 160,000. So Pennsylvania is very much in play. And if I were the Democrats, I would be very worried that their voter registration numbers continue to decrease even after the so-called Taylor Swift endorsement. Now, let's also talk about briefly the mail-in ballot situation. I'm here to tell you, and this is based on Cliff Maloney, his group is great, PA Chase. They're the ones that are going to be knocking on doors and chasing all of those votes. The Democrats are down 416,000 mail-in ballot requests from where they were 4 years ago at this same time. So again, 2020 was decided by 80,000. They're down 300,000 voter registrations, and they're down 416,000 mail-in ballot requests. So Republicans, in my humble, objective opinion, are in the best place possible to actually win Pennsylvania and therefore the presidency this November.
Okay, so walk us through how you do it. So you go to Pennsylvania, you set up shop there. And what do you do? Is it just about canvassing, knocking on people's doors and saying, hey, are you registered to vote? Are you going to vote Republican? Then let me show you how to get registered. And then walk us through how you do it.
Yes, ma'am. So again, numbers guy, data guy. Let's break this down by the math. That 80,000 number, I want everybody to write that on a chalkboard in your brain. Let's talk about conservative groups that support our values but may not vote in elections. There are 80,000 truckers in Pennsylvania alone. If we mobilize that group, we win. And think about it. Truckers, they are busy serving us, the American people. They are driving rigs on election day. And in fact, I spoke with a wife whose husband, a Pennsylvania truck driver, did not vote in 2020 because he was working. And so, especially for our beautiful truckers, we are pushing them to get a mail-in ballot. We are pushing them to vote early in the election to make sure that they lock in those votes if they're not going to be home on November 5th. Then our Amish, there are 90,000 Amish in Pennsylvania. Now, eligible voters is probably more around 40,000. But I know in the 2020 election, only 2,000 Amish voted. We are making a concerted effort not only going to these service plazas to reach the truckers in Pennsylvania, setting up a voter registration table, but I'll tell you, every Tuesday, you will see us at Roots Country Market in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the major hub of the Amish. Every Friday, Ryan Sexton, a member of my team, is at the Green Dragon Farmers Market with a voter registration table, meeting voters where they are, courting the vote, talking about the fact that Democrat Governor Josh Shapiro is waging a war on school choice and religious freedom and small businesses and raw milk and dairy and farmers. Every aspect of Amish living is under attack. We meet the Amish where they are. Then we have 800,000 veterans. And let me tell you, after Tim Walz admitted to lying on national television about his stolen valor the other night during the vice presidential debate, veterans do not take kindly to stolen valor. And veterans, furthermore, do not take kindly to the Biden Kamala Harris debacle of pulling out of Afghanistan, which caused 13 Gold Star families. And then Kamala had the nerve to attack those Gold Star families when President Trump celebrated those families and the lives of the fallen soldiers at the Arlington Cemetery. So we are going, Megyn, to the VFW halls, meeting the veterans where they are. We're going to the American Legions. And last, and probably what I think is the most consequential group that we are making an effort to reach, are our beautiful hunters and Second Amendment enthusiasts. This is very important. 30% of Pennsylvania hunters are not registered to vote. 30%. There are 930,000 hunters. Again, 2020 was decided by 80,000 votes. That means that there are 300,000 hunters in Pennsylvania that are not registered. So we have been going to gunshowtrader.com the last year, visiting every single gun show, going to every single gun store, archery range, and we are even advertising in a newspaper article to 16,000 federal firearms license organizations and companies. So our motto at earlyvoteaction.com is to meet the voter, to get them registered to vote, to follow up with them and actualize them. And so we are constantly
so let's speak to that. So you get, let's say you get them, you get the Amish, you get the truckers, you get the hunters, they're registered in a way they hadn't been. Now you have to make sure they vote, right? You either have to get them a mail-in ballot if they're a trucker and they can't make it, or you have to make sure on election day they get off the sofa or they get out of their job and they spend the time standing. So what do you do about that? Because that seems like something the Democrats are good at. I remember the stories about getting John Thurman elected and how many people brought buses to Pennsylvania to get people on board, drive them to the polling station. And it was all Democrats.
Yes. Well, this is all data. President Obama had the model in 2008 when he first ran. We're not reinventing it. We're just doing the President Obama model. We are community organizers. So whenever we register someone to vote, Megyn, we get their first name, last name, email address, phone number, home address. And so a crucial component when I'm talking to my team and volunteers is you are not done registering a voter until that voter has voted. Sure, registration is part number one. Part number two is actualizing. And so our team, when we're registering someone to vote, we ask every single person, are you going to be in town on Tuesday, November 5th? Do you travel outside of the country? Do you have a job that takes you outside of the state? And if they do, then we have them sign up for a mail-in ballot. And I'm very proud to say that two counties in particular that we've been working on, Pike and Wayne counties in Northeast Pennsylvania, they are the top two most producing Republican counties per registered Republican that have requested more mail-in ballots than the Democrats. And these are red rural areas where normally Republicans are vehemently opposed to mail-in voting, but our education, our meeting the voter, our courting the voter is producing real tangible results. And one last part of that I think is very important is in talking to our beautiful Amish, there's kind of a stigma that they shouldn't be voting. Some of their Amish elders are against it. And you know what? We're using the Democrat strategy of mail-in with the Amish. And when I tell the Amish that they can vote a private, secret ballot that is mailed to their house and they don't have to have their buggy seen going to a polling location, they love the mail-in ballot. And I can tell you tangibly that we are out registering the Democrats in terms of mail-in ballots in Mifflin County and Amish County in the center of the state, and Juniata County and Amish County in the center of the state. And last, I want to make it clear, if President Trump does a rally during a weekday, we are going to be busing people from whatever county he's doing a rally in to a board of elections to vote early. So we are basically doing a lot of the Democrat activities just to elect Republicans.
Do you owe back taxes? Are your tax returns still unfiled? Did you forget to file for an extension? The October 15th deadline is fast approaching and time is running out. If you have not gathered all of your documents or made any estimated payments, you could soon be targeted by the IRS. After October 15th, the IRS can garnish your wages, freeze your bank accounts, or even seize your property. That's the bad news. The good news is there's help available. Tax Network USA, a nationwide tax firm, has helped taxpayers save more than $1 billion in tax debt. They have filed over 10,000 tax returns and assisted thousands in reducing their tax burdens. And they can help you too. Don't wait. Visit tnusa.com/Megyn or call 1-800-958-1000 for a free consultation. They will guide you through a few simple questions to determine how much you can save. Take action now before it's too late. Visit tnusa.com/Megyn or call 1-800-958-1000. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.